which did a really interesting reset group. And it was like we were exploring our relationship with fear and like the embodied positions that fear like might make us want to take on. So for us it was very like inwards, like standing still ready, because somebody else might take over with like the fight response or something like that. So we'd be like standing quite ready, but like with our shoulders kind of hunched forwards and our stomach like tucked back. And while we were doing it, I noticed that it was like the whole room felt like it got more overwhelming and bigger, and it felt like I lost my substance. Like all I could feel was the fear. I didn't feel like stable or secure in myself. Felt like the fear was just kind of there, but like almost like I wasn't. And then everything else felt unmanageable. And then we did like the opposite, which would be like, how would we face fear and what would feel for like courage? So we'd just be like standing with our chest out and our shoulders back, making sure our muscles are like relaxed but strong, with our arms by our side. And I feel a lot of security standing like that, and everything in the room felt like it would get smaller and more manageable. And I felt more secure in myself and like more embodied, more of a sense of like being present to be able to face whatever's happening and to be able to deal with it. And I know that we've got a lot of memories of security because we know we can act from that position very quickly if we need to, and Vince is going to be able to go into the fight response if he has to. So there's like a lot of sense of like our agency and our competence and our ability to cope and to deal with things, and like our strength and feeling empowered. So the fear doesn't really go, but it's like we become more present to meet it, and the environment around us looks less impossible to deal with. And it was really interesting just experimenting with like physiologically taking those positions and like changing back and forth between the two and seeing how the room looked, how everything felt, how our thoughts were being perceived, what we felt like, and like our substance there as people. Interestingly, Vince's fear posture would be different. I think his would be more like aggressive and ready, whereas mine was like more retracted. So that was kind of interesting as well. And it was just really interesting to see like it had a massive physiological effect just standing in those two different positions. And I think when we're like in a posture that dictates fear, like with our shoulders forwards and our stomach retracted, it's like, I guess being stood in that posture is kind of like a trigger for our brain to go, oh, we stood like this is what we stand like when something bad is about to happen. So it like physiologically feels like it brings us more into the fear. And then the same with the courage. It's like standing like that actually had a massive physiological impact in making it feel like we were more capable and more ready to deal with it. And I just think that's a really interesting thing, to be able to like use physical postures to be able to connect with feelings of fear and feelings of courage, and just to be able to have that way to be more in a relationship with it without thinking about things that frighten us necessarily, but like by just physically adapting to the positions that connect with those emotions. It was definitely a way that we could connect more with those emotions. So that was really cool.